Yo. This video is going to be about the new sails released during the 2026 update. We now have 9 sails to choose from, but I'm going to focus on the few newest ones. There are honestly 4 sails that seem to be your go-to choices, which I'll break down. First, I want to simply talk about the storm sails. The description isn't hard to understand. If you have heavy wind, you get +2 speed. Well, that sounds like no big deal. Let me explain how intense this is because of the update. This update introduces 2 things, the storm and different wind speeds depending on your location. The wind speeds change from heavy winds out in the ocean and lower winds near ports. So a higher wind speed will actually make you go faster than normal. Now, introducing the mobile storm that appears somewhat randomly. The storm will have the strongest winds, kind of like going far out in the endless sea. Normally, you wouldn't even be able to use your full sails because of the heavy winds. But the storm sails will not only let you use your full sails, but it gives you even more of a boost. If I use the storm sails on the higher winds in the ocean without the storm, I'd be up to maybe 16.5 knots. However, while I was in the storm, those winds took my speed to almost 22 knots. These sails wouldn't be all-day sails. These would be the sails you switch to when you see a storm is coming. If you follow the storm, you could use your sails from running a trade route or running down players. And of course, these sails would not be used outside the storm, only giving 2.7 knots bonus. Next are my personal favorite, the tacking sails. The description basically says, turning will give you cruising speed, but reduce maneuverability at cruising speed. However, the main purpose of these is actually the sharp maneuverability boost from the speed boost. Might sound like it should counter the maneuverability, but think about how you turn sharply usually. If you were barely moving and just started turning, all of your turning is your maneuverability stat. However, turning also relies on speed, which I described in a previous video. If you go at least 10 knots and then reduce your sails to turn, that speed works with your maneuverability stat way more than you realize. So since speed actually helps you turn, these tacking sails increase speed while turning. That means you'll actually turn sharper if you use all your sails. Hovering over the sail basically confirms this as well. These tacking sails are my go-to boarding sails. Have you ever tried to board and just couldn't turn sharp enough? Now you are literally holding your full sails to turn on them, instead of reducing sails to turn. Because half the time you reduce your sails for that turn, and now they are farther away from you. No more running in circles trying to board someone. But honestly, even really good with brawling, being able to turn sharper is always going to help. It's going to get some getting used to, however, since the main way to turn sharp was reducing your sails before. But to make these work, you'll need to be using full sails. It won't be the best rundown sails, since the bonus is only 2.8 knots, so bring some bar shot to take them down to your speed, then outmaneuver them. Next, which I'm sure most people have noticed by now, that we can no longer sail straight with the wind. I'm going to have to also break that habit of lining up my ship with the wind arrows. You'll have to go slightly off-center, otherwise you'll get a huge speed penalty. The Reefed Sails fixed that. These seem like the perfect hit-and-run sails, possibly with seed ships, since you can go straight with the wind at a high speed, while the person chasing won't be able to. Putting space between you and them can allow you to repair, or maybe even lob another mortar at them. Eventually, the person will give up chasing you, letting you chase them, or escape. Once again, these seem to be situational depending on your playstyle. Since these sails just give a little bonus above the previous sails at 2.9 knots, but even lower if you went sideways into the wind, so keep going with the wind for max efficiency. Lastly, the rating sails will be the fastest base sails you can get. The only drawback will be getting up to that speed will become slower. So these sails will be the absolute best to get you from A to B. The storm sails would still be faster in the storm, but you can't always wait around for the storm to appear. These sails are the best at outrunning someone, or even the best at chasing someone down. However, it will affect your combat once you do catch up to them. These are almost the opposite of the tacking sails, in regard to the turning sharply once you slow down. Your startup speed is now nerfed, which makes it harder to turn at a lower speed. You'll shine at speed battles, but the moment it turns into a brawl, you'll feel the turn speed taking a hit. So while you can use these as chase down sails, they're mostly better at escaping than using for combat. There are still 5 sails to choose from, which are the cheap, stitched, ultralight, elite, and tarpaulin sails. These sails are basically the general sails that won't really have special situations to use them in. You'd get these just because you don't have the resources for better ones yet. The newer sails require voodoo skulls, which beginners might not have readily to spend. So I'll link a video about using the altar to get voodoo skulls, as well as a tips video that includes tips on using your sails. I hope this video lets people understand and use the new sails with confidence. Don't forget to subscribe so I can keep helping as this update continues. We are just getting started on the updates coming this year, so stick around.